So you started your self-love journey. Congratulations. That is a huge step forward. Now you're probably going to want to confirm you're on the right track to healthy self-love. There are specific signs that you will see on your self-love journey. And that's because when you love yourself, life just changes. The lenses in which you see others, the world, and daily circumstances will alter once you begin to bet on yourself. When you go all in on you, you will begin to see these 7 signs of true self-love. Hey, I'm Brianna from Self Love Starts Now. I make content about self-development, self-love, and faith, so if that is something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. Number 1, you have so much peace. You will experience a new level of peace when you are practicing true self-love. When you are loving yourself well, you will be able to cancel all of that outside noise that kills peace. You stop comparing yourself to others. You get out of the superficial, photoshopped world, and you find the peace that comes with loving yourself just the way you are. Because true love is consistent and faithful, it doesn't sway with every turn of emotions from you or from others. Love is consistent even in a changing world. Consistency and faithfulness creates stability, which is the breeding ground for peace. 2, you finish what you start. I cannot stress this enough, but there is something you prove to yourself when you finish something that you've started. You are demonstrating a level of commitment to yourself. Obviously, finishing what you start begins with starting something. Have you made any commitments to yourself lately? This could look like changing your everyday schedule, like committing to waking up earlier. Are there books that you started but didn't finish? What about the book you said you would write? Or the business you said you would start? What about cleaning up that area of your house or redecorating? Did you start something only to tell yourself you would finish next spring or when the weather was nicer? Or, of course, you would finish when you have more time. Maybe you have some long-standing commitments to yourself, like how you committed to make more time for yourself, or losing that weight, or earning that degree. For some reason, it's easier to finish tasks for other people. If we constantly started work assignments without finishing them, we would likely be fired. If we handed in every single paper or assignment in school without completing it, we would probably fail. And that makes sense. No one would pay a full price to get their nails done and happily leave with just their right hand complete. We could look at things on the outside like work, homework, or even a manicure and understand why we should finish what we started. However, when it comes to our personal lives and goals, we make every excuse to why we did not finish. Quite frankly, this is unacceptable. Our dreams and visions are much more valuable than a set of nails. Having constant and incomplete tasks subconsciously tells ourselves we don't deserve complete. When we don't finish what we start, we are effectively giving ourselves the message, you fail, you're fired. So many people walk away from the commitments that they've made to themselves, especially their fitness goals. Gyms literally survive due to this. Sis, with people and industries being against you, bet on yourself. Keep your commitments and finish what you've started. Number 3, you honor your physical body. As you grow in self-love, you are able to honor your body and physical appearance in the state you are in. You understand what can and should improve, but you could also accept the changes your body goes through over time. Life has ebbs and flows. Most of us will not look the exact same way in our 20s as we will in our 60s. Would you love yourself the same if you gained 20 pounds or lost 20 pounds? What if your skin breaks out in pimple galore? What if your hair starts to thin? It is so important to love our bodies in the very form that it is in right now. Honoring your physical body also includes treating it well by consuming foods that are healthy, by consuming nutrients that your body needs. Although you may want the addictive sugar and fats that are found in unhealthy foods, it does not honor your body to eat them because it will harm you in the long term. Neglecting exercise and a healthy diet dishonors and disrespects your body. However, if you ended up in a place that is unhealthy because of poor diet and lack of exercise, or even medical reasons, you could start to honor your body today. Making changes in your health is just important as learning to love your body just as it is. Both of those could work together. It's okay to have certain goals and things that you want to work towards, but learning to love yourself, learning to love your body starts way before you enter a gym or enter a kitchen. It starts in your mind. Number 4, you don't give into temptations. This is a sure sign of self-love. True love is stable, consistent, and faithful, but temptations are temporary. Temptations are distractions. They distract you from your goals and your vision. If you're on the path to losing weight, temptation comes in the form of your favorite dessert. If you're on the path of healing, temptation may look like your ex popping back into the picture. If you're on the path to seeking God, temptation may look like your friend saying, that's a waste of time. Temptations will always take you off the path you are supposed to be on. Temptations present themselves in very alluring ways. But one way to see if you are practicing true self-love is you give into temptations less and less. You understand that you don't have to bow to every emotion and craving that you're having. You don't have to bow to everything that temptation places before you. You love yourself enough to realize your self-worth is more valuable than the empty promises of short-term temptation. And that gives you the boldness and confidence to reject any temptation, big or small. Number 5, you enforce your boundaries, period. We all have different things that hurt us. Most of us could laugh about some tough things in our lives, but there are some things that are very painful. These boundaries are kind of like invisible internal lines that we don't want crossed. And they look different for every person in every season. Creating boundaries happens intrinsically. We actually all have boundaries, but we don't all enforce them. For example, if you have a boundary that you would just never let anyone belittle you, do you make an exception when you get into a fight with your best friend? Do you let it slide if it comes from your parents or a partner? It is so important to enforce your boundaries regardless of who crossed them, because boundaries guide how you allow others to treat you. If you set your boundaries and fail to enforce them, you are saying to others, I am drawing a line that I don't want to be crossed. But it's okay if you cross them. Thus, the whole boundary falls apart. It literally makes no sense. Enforcing your boundaries is key, and no one should ever have numerous opportunities to disrespect and cross your boundaries. If this happens over and over, there seriously has to be a point where you stand up for yourself, or the person will likely become a repeat offender. If you are working on this and want healthier relationships, an excellent book about boundaries is Boundaries: When to Say Yes, How to Say No, to Take Control of Your Life by Dr. Henry Cloud. Sis, when people do not treat you with respect, they should no longer have full access to you. Every person is equal and created in the image of God. No one was created to be abused or mistreated. You are worth so much more. True love means you enforce your boundaries. Sign number 6, you are saying no a lot. Saying no is just another way of setting boundaries, but I included this as a separate sign than boundaries because no is hard and clear. When you start setting boundaries, your boundaries may need an explanation at times. People in your life may want to understand why it seems like you're making so many sudden changes. And I think that's fair, but there are some things in our lives that require a clear, hard no. And I know a lot of people struggle with saying no. This leads them to soften their answer, which in turn honestly just causes confusion. Instead of saying no, people say, maybe, I'm not sure, I have to see. If you know your answer is no, then say no. You don't have to feel guilty for saying no. And if you want to be polite, then say, no, thank you. Add a smile. Add a smile that will soften up your no. No, thank you. No, thank you. People who practice self-love are confident and they know who they are. They know they deserve respect for who they are because they respect others. It doesn't matter if everyone in the room says yes, they could boldly say no. The 7th sign of true self-love is you give like crazy. A sure sign you are practicing true self-love is a giving heart. Now, I don't mean you will empty your entire closet and bank account to every person you see. A giving heart is not restricted by material items or any possessions for that matter. Our time is more valuable than those things anyway. But I'm not talking about time either. Giving from your heart is not a matter of what you give, but the posture of your heart while you are giving. A lot of times we give to others and later regret it because our hearts were not truly there. In teaching self-love, one thing I stress is setting aside time for yourself and making that you time a priority. However, this is met with a lot of pushback. At the time of this article, I have no kids and I am not married yet. So of course people tell me, Brianna, you don't understand. You're single. If I was single, I would have me time too. But I just can't because of my kids or fill in the blank. I can't because of this. Whatever it is they say because I don't have kids, I'm not married, I don't understand. And I will admit, of course, a single person probably does have more opportunities to have time alone. But quite frankly, your relationship status or family is not an excuse for not taking time for yourself. We have to see that as a non-negotiable. Take these 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, a mother and wife who works nonstop to give to her family. When someone asks something of her, she doesn't want to because she feels tired, sick, sad, or drained. She pushes past her feelings and does what is asked of her. Scenario 2, a mother and wife who works to her limit, caring for her family. When she feels tired, sick, sad, or drained, she rests. She knows her limit and communicates it to her family so they understand. She cares for her family and her family cares for her. The first woman paints a beautiful, strong, yet tired woman. The second woman is just as beautiful and strong. The difference between these 2 women is that in scenario 2, the woman's family sees her as human. She sets her boundaries, and when she's tired, she rests. If I told you that one of these women grew into a bitter woman in 10 years, which woman would you guess it was? You see, it's quite ironic. Although the woman in scenario 1 worked nonstop, the woman in scenario 2 actually is the one who gave more. Why? Because it is easier to give from a full cup rather than an empty cup. When you practice true self-love, you learn to give to yourself and fill up your cup. And when your cup is full, you could give to others so much more. So I hope you treated this video like a checklist, checking off the areas you have down pat and making a note, maybe taking some screenshots of the areas you still need to work on. Self-love changes everything, and everyone can grow and develop in their self-love. If you know you really need to work on self-love, please visit me at selflovestartsnow.com. I would love to meet you. Bye.